Welcome to Hartfelt Beer Reviews. My name is Kyle Hart for yet another beer review. Today we're brewing something that I have never heard of in my entire life, something super rare, I presume, and I picked it up at my local liquor store. This is Untitled Art and Three Sheep Brewing Company's Oaxacan Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Stout. There's not much about this beer online that I can find. I know that the Untitled Art base Oaxacan Stout is retired and no longer brewed. There's no description on it online. But as best that I can tell, the Oaxacan Stout base is a mole stout, meaning it was brewed with peppers. So presumably peppers, cinnamon, vanilla, coffee perhaps. And then aged in bourbon barrels. Again, I'm not entirely sure. I did as much digging online that I could to find out more about this beer. But this is one of the most expensive beers that I've ever seen, especially that it's just one bottle. This cost me about $65. So, if you can believe that, you know, this is ridiculous at this point with these prices. I really was almost turned off by this because of its price. But I really wanted to try it out because these beers are super rare. They're super limited, and it could be a one-time brew, and if I never have the chance to try it again, I would be very displeased with myself. So, as far as I know, this is a bourbon barrel-aged mole stout. Again, it's an imperial stout with peppers and cinnamon and vanilla, I believe. I could be entirely wrong, but I think that's what this is. It comes in at 14% alcohol by volume and 25.4 ounces. Out of Wenatchee, Wisconsin. So I'm going to go ahead and crack this open, give you a pour, tell you what I think about it. Now this beer did set for about 10 or 15 minutes before I opened it. It has been chilling for 24 hours. So 15, 20, 25 minutes should have been enough time to let it warm up. These beers are very complex in their flavor profiles. You know, the cinnamons, the chocolates, the potential coffees, the peppers, the roasted malts, caramels, all these are deep flavors. And if the bottle is too cold, the beer is too cold, my palate's not going to be able to recognize them properly. And I don't want to sit here for 25 minutes while I wait and tell you guys what I think about this beer. So I'm going to go ahead and give you an aroma out of the bottle. Okay, this is definitely a mole stout. I apologize about that. I've had a sore throat lately, and it's not the beer that's making me cough. I can smell peppers, chocolate fudge, vanilla, bourbon, caramel. That's a deep, deep chocolate fudge. I can't really pick up coffee. There might be coffee in this. Okay, I'm not entirely sure. But I'm going to give it a pour, tell you what I think. Cheers. 14% alcohol. I expect no head on this beer whatsoever. Maybe, like I said, quarter-inch head. And this beer is too cold for my preference. You know, ideally the beer should be around 50 to 55 degrees before drinking. I don't have a thermometer to check. That's my fault. I apologize. I hope I can accurately describe the taste characteristics of this beer. If I have to sit here for 15 more minutes, I will do that to ensure you a good video. But it's pitch black. I mean, there's absolutely no light at all coming through this. I mean, it's as black as coal. I like. It looks a bit thin, which I don't like. Preferably in my stouts, I like my stouts to be really, really viscous, super oily, super tar-like. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean that the flavor is going to be off. I don't prefer mole stouts, you know, with the peppers and the cinnamon and the vanilla. I just don't like stouts with peppers in them. So, if this is what this is, which I'm pretty sure this is what this is, It may not be to my preference, but I'm not drinking this beer because it's my preference. I'm not drinking this beer because I absolutely want it and it's the best thing I've ever had in my life. I'm doing it to help my reviewers, or my viewers I should say, for this beer. Anybody online that wants to know more about this beer, I want to try my best to accurately describe these beers for you. So I'm going to go ahead and get the aroma, tell you what I think, and then go in for a taste. Cheers. Okay. I'm getting peppers for sure, but not spicy. It's almost just like a pepper skin. Now sometimes a high quality coffee when brewed can give off the pepper skin vibe, which I actually enjoy, but the peppers itself with the spice is not my favorite. Again, I've not tasted it yet. Deep concentrated chocolate fudge brownie. I mean, this is almost like a brownie batter. It's insane. Vanilla bean, for sure vanilla bean, not a vanilla extract, but you can differentiate in if you ever smell the difference. A little bit of cinnamon sweetness and caramel candy kind of vibe to it. Roasted malts, big roasted malts. That's about it that I'm getting from this beer. Again, this is very cold. I'm going to go ahead and go in for a taste. Tell you what I think. Hope it's a good one for $65. 14% alcohol. Here we go. Cheers. This beer is a masterpiece, but boy do you taste that 14%. Again, it's expected, not a problem with this beer. I just don't prefer the high ABV. Granted, I bought it knowing it was 14%. I knew this was going to happen. It's not a negative to this beer because that's what this beer is trying to put off. But this is a super thick beer. Didn't look like it in the pour. I was wrong. At least the mouthfeel is very viscous. First thing you get off the bat, chocolate fudge brownie. I mean, this is a brownie batter if I've ever tasted one in a beer. Deep, dark, concentrated, triple chocolate fudge. Absolutely through and through, to the point that it coats your palate. It sticks to your mouth all the way down your throat. Fantastic. Then you get the vanilla bean. And the vanilla bean is really distinctive without being overpowering, because too much vanilla can really be out there and it could really ruin the beer, at least in my opinion. There are certain flavors, little bits are good enough. Too much, I mean, again, depending on how much you like the certain flavor. But this is just the right amount of vanilla bean. It absolutely coats the chocolate fudge. Imagine a chocolate fudge brownie with vanilla bean in it. I mean, that's really what this tastes like without trying to sound too gimmicky. And then you get a sweet, kind of sticky carameliness to it. You get a caramel ethanol sweetness to it, which is really delightful. And then the middle of the beer, you get the pepper, and you get it's a moderate pepper kick to it. It's not spicy, believe it or not. I have never had a mole stout or a stout brewed with peppers that was not spicy. I have had very spicy stouts before. I'm talking super habanero stout peppers, and it's not my thing. You get the spicy pepper flavor without the spicy heat. It kind of doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what they did to keep that from happening, but I have no idea how old this bottle is either. Presumably it's fresh, brand new. Normally stouts are brewed in, the winter months, November, December, January. We're in May now. This could just been setting somewhere. Maybe that kind of spiciness subdued a little bit. But then you get the cinnamon spice, and it kind of just rounds out all the other flavors, just to give it a more of a spicy flavor characteristic without being spicy heat. I'm not detecting any coffee. Again, maybe it's too cold, but then maybe there's no coffee in here. I presume that if there were coffee in this, I could tell. I'm not detecting any coffee in the aroma or the flavor as of now. And then you really taste the ethanol. I mean, it's not overpowering burn, but it's a really more of a warming ethanol presence. And it's not just pure ethanol flavor. I do get a subtle bourbon, but it is a subdued bourbon. It's not a forward like you're drinking a bourbon like some are, like a Death Star by Revolution Brewing Company or a Bourbon County by Oaxacan. Those are very distinctive forward bourbon flavors. This is more of a subdued bourbon. The oak is very light. I'm not detecting much char, which preferably, or personally I should say, I like in my stouts. I like a nice charred taste in my barrel-aged beer. Because why else buy bourbon barrel-aged beer unless you just want extra alcohol? And for me personally, I'm not just hunting for the extra alcohol flavor or kick. I'm hunting for the bourbon flavor and the char flavor. But that's just my personal preference. Some people like sweeter stouts that are barrel-aged. But I digress. Back into the taste. Cheers. Wow. Wow. This beer is moderately sweet. The only thing I could say about this beer is what's obvious. It stands out. This beer is heavy. I could never drink more than one glass of this. And I feel like, I personally feel like I've wasted some money, but then again, this experience is what I'm after. I'm not looking for a mega buzz or looking to get plowed and just off into space drunk laying on the floor. I'm looking for a once-in-a-lifetime tasting beerful experience, I guess you could say. This is a world-class beer, if I ever had one, and I've had plenty. This beer is going to go under the radar. I have no idea its distribution. I heard it's extremely allocated, meaning these places around Wisconsin, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you can't order it. So basically, if your store gets it, be lucky. You find it, pick it up. I picked this one up at the Total Wine in Brookfield, Wisconsin. And they only had about 6 bottles. So they have 5 now, since I have one. But this beer is big, it's bold, it's brash, but it's also soothing. It doesn't smother you with its flavor profile. Its complexities wrap you in a gift of warmth. They're extravagant and they're bright and they're big. But if you have too much of her, she can really knock you on your ass. So, I unfortunately, but fortunately, won't be drinking this entire bottle. I really, really wish I had somebody to share this with. My girlfriend hates beer, hates alcohol, and my only other beer friend, Jonathan Troville, who also accompanies me on this profile on Hartfelt Beer Reviews. He does other reviews as well that you might enjoy. Would love this beer. At least he would drink it with me. I can tell you that, again, his preference is not the mole pepper stout, but I think he'd like it because this is a sweeter forward beer. Or I should say a sweeter stout. You can really taste a molassesy thickness to it. Some brown sugar characteristics come out. I'm not getting any particular dark fruit forward notes that I can pick up. Doesn't mean they're not in here, but this is not brewed with any real fruit that I'm aware of. If it is, I'm just not picking it up. I really sincerely think this is just a bourbon barrel-aged mole stout. It's what it tastes like, what it smells like. If it looks like it, if it tastes like it, it must be, I'm going to go ahead and give you one more grade on the aroma and flavor. Tell you what I think. Tell you my last thoughts on the beer. And then I'm going to enjoy this glass and drift off to sleepland. Hopefully, anyway. Cheers. Again, It's pretty much hasn't changed over the 15 minutes that I've been talking to you guys. It's a big, big, big chocolate fudge brownie. I mean, I'm not just saying chocolate fudge to sound like a gimmick. I mean chocolate fudge brownie through and through to the max. If you like that, you're going to automatically like this. Then you get vanilla bean. Again, it brings it all together. It doesn't overpower it with sweetness. You know, you're not going to get a toothache drinking this beer, thank God. That's not something any of us need or want. And that caramel candy, should I say maybe butterscotch flavor to it, really brings out the sweetness. And again, it's just delightful. It gives it a more of a unique kick instead of just generic sugary sweetness. And dare I say, because almost every beer reviewer says they pick up this next flavor in beer when it's not there, at least to my knowledge, I'm almost picking up a toasted coconut in this, which is actually quite nice. Coconut's one of those things that can be too much. In this case, it can be just enough. The barrel aging process and the wood characteristics that are imparted in this beer through aging in the bourbon barrel can impart toasted coconut. Again, maybe that's just my mind, but I really think that there's some toasted coconut characteristics going on as this warms up. Again, I can almost guarantee that. I smell it. Or my mind could be playing tricks on me. Maybe I want the coconut to be there. Who knows? Find it, try it yourself. $60+. If you can find it, buy it. Believe me, it may leave a hole in your pocket, but it will fill your heart. And then I'm getting the pepper. And the pepper, like I said, the pepper skin is just, I don't want to say it's a distinctive pepper like a jalapeno or a habanero, because it's definitely not that crazy. But you get the spicy pepper aroma, and you get the pepper flavor, but it's not like, you don't get the spice. It doesn't burn at all. I've had Mole Stouts that you can continue to burn on the palate of the spiciness flavor. This is not it at all. You get the flavor without the spice. It's quite sensational. I'm surprised that they could do that. Then you really get the cinnamon, and the cinnamon just adds a certain uniqueness to it. I mean, this would be great on a snowed-in day in Wisconsin. I mean, this is absolutely, you sit by the fire, got your nice warm clothes on, read a book, watch a movie with your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your kids, whoever, a friend, doesn't matter. This is a treat that almost anyone, I actually would say anyone that enjoys stouts would love this beer. They should. I don't know how anybody could dislike this beer. That again, taste is subjective, like we've all talked about before. Then you get a very subdued oak and bourbon. Like I said, it's not overpowering. This is not a char-heavy beer. Which sometimes when you barrel-age beer, all you taste is char, all you taste is oak. The oak is there, and distinctive bourbon, again, distinctive bourbon, not just ethanol. So if you like bourbon, you like stouts, you're gonna like this beer. This beer offers so much for you and anyone else that enjoys these flavor characteristics. And it goes for days. It doesn't change, and that's what it is. I like consistency. You know, I'm a man. They say we don't like change. I like this beer. Surprisingly, I like this beer. I'm glad I like it for the price, for what it is. Fantastic. I would dare say, even though this beer is going to go under the radar, because I don't think it sees distribution outside Wisconsin. I could be totally wrong on that. Feel free to comment on the video if you see this in your local liquor stores. I'll go ahead and give you one last taste. Tell you what I think. Cheers. Again, the more it warms up, the more you taste that alcohol. Again, that's really the only, I wouldn't say downside, because that's what this beer offers. It offers a 14%. I just don't prefer it personally. But, like I said, like I've repeated many times, chocolate fudge brownie, vanilla bean, caramel candy, toasted coconut through and through now as this is warming, for sure. Then you get the peppers without the spiciness. Again, very surprised on that. Then you get the cinnamon, just a little bit of cinnamon kick, just a moderate cinnamon kick, not enough to blow your pants off. And then you get the oak, and then you get the subdued, very subdued char. It's there, enough to kiss your lips. That's it. Doesn't tease you anywhere else. Doesn't overpower you, anything heavy. So this beer is big, bold, dark, phenomenal. I recommend this beer as much as I can. Like I said, you like this style of beer, you need to try to find it if you're from this area. Like I said, found this in Brookfield, Wisconsin, at the local Total Wine. And I recommend any of you out there get it while you can, because I've seen, like I said, 6 bottles. I'm sure there's some more somewhere else, but I'm not sure their locations. Enjoy. Have a great night. This has been Untitled Art and Three Sons Brewing Company, Oaxacan Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. Or Oaxacan, sorry. 14% alcohol. Enjoy. I know I have. Thank you, and have a good night.